Hello everyone, Michael from Toler Tools. Some of you guys have seen my face before, you haven't seen it for a while. We haven't done a new video for a while for somewhat obvious reasons. What's less obvious is that I'm in my house with my 8 and 5-year-old, and as effective a mother as my lovely wife is, they are equally boisterous and loud, and so we're doing our best. They're downstairs watching a video now. I hope that doesn't come through in the volume. But some people have been looking for a video on what to expect from their union, and there's also been some comments and videos that indicate some people aren't quite understanding some of the design intent, some of the features, and so I want to go through and go over those so that you know what to expect from your union. First off, the knife blade is one-hand deployable. There was some misconception in a recently released video that it's a stainless blade. It's not, it's D2. D2 is a near stainless composition, but it's known for its toughness and edge holding. It's a tool steel, commonly used in cutlery, pocket knives especially, at a somewhat reasonable price, and so that's what we chose. And that's a liner lock. You'll depress the piece of metal just at the base, fold that down, and that's how you'll safely use your knife. We'll go straight to the magnet between the halves. It should hold your halves together, but not so tightly that you can't pop it open. We do want you to be able to take your fingers and slide them in and flip that out and get straight to your full-length Omni lock. We should talk about deployment of the Omni lock because we had a comment from a customer who was rubbing himself with it. I do have double XL hands, and so I don't have that issue. I think it's a technique issue. I did mention that he should maybe try a different technique. I use the corner of my thumb and I press forward and back like explained in the video, and I don't contact the clip at all. Conversely, I can do the same thing with my pointer finger if I'm going the other direction to loosen a nut. So if you have that issue, please do consider a technique change. Let's move right on to the saw blades. The saw blades deploy with the nail nick at the end of the blade. They lock out, and I've seen in a video people forcing that lock closed. I think maybe they didn't watch the instructional video that comes on the card in your package, but to bring those saw blades closed, you should bring out another blade, force the lock back with the profile of the back of the blade. That frees the lock, and then you can smoothly bring everything back down. The other thing that was going on in that particular video is they were using it just as the plier half, which is certainly acceptable, but if you're really looking to get the most out of your saws, you're going to want to use that pistol grip. And so you're going to get much better purchase and follow through on your saw blades. You get much better performance out of those in that scenario. Now that brings me to another topic. Some people have talked about, oh, there's play at my blade hinge. That is intentional. It's intentional for the rake on the saw blade, and it's intentional for a little wobble drive in certain driving configurations. So if you are taking your blade, your bit extender, putting it in your hex, bringing it into a screw drive position, this is going to give you a little wobble drive. Some of you guys may enjoy that, some of you guys may not. There are certain instances where I find it useful. You can of course take this and flip it to the right angle, and that's going to have that same wobble drive. If you're not looking to have the wobble drive, please do bring your tool together, bring it here. You're going to have less wobble drive as you have control of how these two halves made up. You can of course then bring this out, have your full T-handle driver. You can bring the tool apart, and of course to do that you are going to flip your plier handles open, bring that off of the hinge. You then have your pliers. When you have your pliers open, there should be friction here that allows you to rotate this, bring it in, use it however you need without those handles coming loose, going all over the place on you. Then there are other drivers here as well. You're going to have a T-handle driver here in the plier half, and I've not seen anyone demonstrate this in any of the videos or comments that we've been talking about, but there is a screwdriver here in the end of the plier as well, and that has essentially zero wobble. So through the different driver configurations, they have different personalities and characteristics that you might want to use. Now, we could talk about the retention of the bits. You should be able to move those around. They shouldn't be able to fall out. Not astronaut level G-forces, but certainly enough to bring them in, do your work, apply the torque that you need and get the job done. And then of course that should come out easily. You can put it back in your bit holder and carry that with you. And the last point are some of the fasteners in place. We chose to put these 4 bits on board for a reason. You got a flat, a number 1 Phillips, a number 2 Phillips, and then a hex. And we chose to do these fasteners in such a way that the onboard bits that you're going to find in the wild most often are also going to be able to do whatever repairs or modifications to the union that you need to make. So your knife blade, the action of your knife blade, the difficulty or tightness of it opening and closing is going to be set by a hex fastener here, and as you tighten or loosen that, it's going to be easier or harder to open and close your blade, and that's to your preference. What you don't want to do is loosen it so far that you get side-to-side blade play. Other than that, it should stay in place and stay where you set it. The hinge pins are going to be accessed with your hex. Some people thought that maybe those should have Loctite on them, and maybe we made a mistake. That's not the case. They should not. That is for future modularity. So what you're going to want to do, use your hex driver, make for sure those are cinched down so that friction holds them in place. And the reason for that is future modularity. Maybe I said that already. You're going to want to be able to take those loose, put them back together, mix and match different male and female halves to your desires. And so that is why we chose, say, Phillips on the wrench cover, because those are going to be able to be accessed by the fasteners and bits that you have on board, so that if you had something that you wanted to get into your wrench cavity and clean it, or you had gotten something in there that's a problem, you want to be able to take that wrench cover off, you're going to have those tools on board, and these things both having driver options are going to allow you to work on one with the other. And so you should be able to do all the user defined customization or tightening with the union itself. One of the things that you shouldn't be tightening or loosening, and you should not need to tighten or loosen, are the fasteners at the plier head. Those should be in place. What you will be able to do later, once this thing, if it should wear to where it does not maintain the friction over the course of 4 or 5 years for heavy use, there will be a procedure where you can tighten those up and refresh the feeling of your union over time. That is by design as well. I wanted to go over those things. What I also want to say is that all the feedback that we've gotten, whether it was erroneous or true or etc., it's invaluable to us as we improve our QC and production methods to make for sure that the already low level of possible defects are driven, we hope, to zero. Now, if you have any issues, we've had a few people that have had them so far out of a few hundred tools sent out. We want you to contact us. Where else? contact@tolertools.com, and we will take care of you. And we've done that for a few of you already, and we will continue to. I want to thank you guys so much for support of the Toler Union. It has been a difficult year. We have faced those challenges head on. We've kept the company very lean. We've been very careful with our ad spends. We've been very careful in our overhead, and it's limited our ability to do lots of new videos and a lot of the things that we would like to do, but we are performing the core functions to get us all to where we need to go. Now, as far as getting to where we need to go, I'm going to list what is the shipping timeline below, and that is not exactly what I've been saying for the last couple of months. I've been giving you the best information that I have had to this point. I now have more full information. It'll be below. Everything is going to happen in the next 2 to 3 months. and we're happy to be at that point, and I'm so happy to be getting ready to share this tool with all of you. And I thank you so much for your patience and your support in what was definitely a long wait. I know it. It's been a difficult year. We are about to break through. I thank you guys so very much, and I look forward to sending you guys all a fully functional tool. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.